Hello all, welcome back. So over the weekend I finally got a chance to watch the first episode of Lanterns and I have some thoughts. So I'm going to share them with you. Heavy spoilers ahead if you haven't watched the episode yet. Firstly, the positives. The only positive for me really was Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan, who I loved his personality and dialogue all the way through the episode. I liked the opening flashback where he's in the costume doing the interview on TV. I loved his actions during the bar scene, which was the highlight, where he uses his ring to create a dollar and plays an annoying song on a jukebox to get into a bar fight to get himself arrested. I thought that was awesome and hilarious. And I love the ending interrogation scene where he's interrogating the alien in human disguise and he's trying to catch him out. Love that dialogue and I loved his actions when the alien tried to blow himself up. Unfortunately, that's where the positives end for me, I'm afraid. So, on to the episode's negatives. So, let's start with John Stewart, the other Green Lantern, the trainee. His first scene, he's a child in the opening flashback. His father, in a sort of no fear exercise, puts an apple on his head and then shoots it off and he doesn't flinch. I just thought it come across as abusive. And then, as an adult, as Hal Jordan's trainee, I just found him bland, boring and a bit too straight-laced. Like, his character, I didn't care for. Hopefully this changes in follow-up episodes. From the trailers, it looks like in future episodes, he's a bit anti-Hal Jordan and he's going to be there like, the ring is mine, I'm a better Green Lantern than you'll ever be, Hal Jordan. And it's undermining who I think is the best Green Lantern character from the comics, and a lot of other fans agree. So, bad first impression of this universe's apparent mainline Green Lantern who's going to be in future movies. And then the murder mystery plot in Nebraska is a shooting at a college football game. There wasn't really anything that engaged me. I kind of didn't care much for it. So they're aliens in disguise and that's all we know. And also, when the two main characters use the lantern ring, use the powers, majority of the time it kind of sucked. You can create constructs of anything. You can create a jet, a minigun, a cannon. It was mainly just bubbles. The only one I did like was when Hal created the dollar bill, which was nothing special really. And yeah, just wasted potential. Hopefully that changes in later episodes. And the last scene, the flash forward to 2026, the big hook, and this is where there's very heavy spoilers, as John Stewart and the sheriff finds Hal Jordan dead. And I like the Hal Jordan character in the show as well as the comics, and him just dead, I was like, okay, is that it? So yeah, the series itself is just not doing it for me. Hopefully this changes. Hopefully I'm going to eat my words, because I do love Green Lantern comics. I do really want to get on board with this DCU, but it just feels like this Lantern series, like the writers hate the source material and they're just using it to tell a different kind of True Detective-esque story. One of the writers of the show, Damon Lindelof I believe, said in an interview, we took the green out of the name because we thought it was stupid. And it just gives the impression they're not fans of the comics, they're just using these characters to tell a different story, which another writer of the show, Tom King, a lot of his comics feel like that. And I actually do like some of Tom King's work. I liked his Batman run for the most part, it had issues, and I liked his Mr. Miracle comic, but his other stuff just feels like, yeah, I want to tell these stories with these characters, but these are my stories that don't do justice to the characters. James Gunn himself, who is the main studio head, gives that impression with his stories. He just uses the character's name and look to tell his stories for his own sort of, well, it feels like his own therapy at times. Like, he got a lot of hate on social media for his dodgy tweets back in the day, and a lot of Superman felt like it was his therapy. Peacemaker season 2 felt the same, like it was therapy for himself, and it's not what I want to see in a universe full of superheroes fighting villains. That's like the main thing I do want to see, which the MCU does pretty well, is superheroes fighting supervillains with good writing and stories and characters that I can get on board with and follow. Yet Lanterns, like Peacemaker Series 2, feels vulgar, and the point of these universes have mass market appeal. You know, you want children on board to grow up with, giving you their money as adults. The first phase of the MCU nailed this, you know. Every movie was at least PG to 12A with the Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America and Avengers films. It was a brilliant entry point, using heavy hitters and then giving us a massive payoff team up. Whereas the DCU, it just feels like they're throwing stuff at the wall that James Gunn wants and sees if it sticks. And then we have the big piece of news from this weekend, and that's the official green lighting of the show, The People vs. Gorilla Grodd. Now, there is one positive, is that we're going to spend more time with the Daily Planet cast. Jimmy Olson's the main character, Perry White's confirmed being Lombard and Cat Grant. That's fun. I do like that cast of characters. Thought they were a little bit underutilised in Superman, so that's good to see. The only two characters that are missing are obviously Lois and Clark, because they're big movie characters, but I can deal with that. However, a Jimmy Olson show where he's going against Gorilla Grodd, a Flash villain. Who seriously asked for this? I own countless amount of comics. I love DC comics, but this is not a show that I want. I'd much prefer a Flash series where he's fighting Gorilla Grodd, or a movie, not Jimmy Olson, who, look, is very well cast, but in Superman, he was just a joke character. He had that funny gimmick of he was a ladies' man, but he's not particularly good looking. And that's it, that's his character. It was funny, it worked for the film a little bit, served the plot a little bit, but to carry his own show, I don't know. Like, where is Batman, Wonder Woman and The Flash? Seriously, this universe just makes no sense. And it's going to be an office-like comedy mockumentary, and it's just going to make the universe look more silly than it already is. Peacemaker Season 2 did a good job of that, I've mentioned that before. And I want to be on board with this DCU, but the more I hear about it on a weekly basis, the more I'm disliking it, and disliking James Gunn. I used to really enjoy his work. I still think he is a good fun filmmaker, writer, but I just think this universe is his own little therapy session, and it's just wasting the fans' time. But I hope to be wrong, I really do. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Lanterns and the Jimmy Olsen series. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions out in the comments, and I will see you all next time.